up, everybody? Welcome back to the Underdogs podcast. We're on to episode number 24 now. If you're watching us now, it means you just finished watching our yearly recap, which me and Craig did. We got another special guest with us. Craig, I'm going to pass to you.
Yes, man. This is a very, very special guest that we have today. One of the top JUCO recruiters in the country. One hell of a coach. He's from East LA College. And he is Detroit's own. Please give it up for Ken Hunter. Ken, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, man, pleasure. I appreciate y'all bringing me out, man, and it's just a blessing being here, man. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely, because we feel like you are a perfect example of what an underdog stands for, and we just really appreciate you, and we can't wait. So let's just get right into it.
Let's go.
So, want to talk about your upbringing? Here you from Detroit, so let's just get into that.
Man, I'm just a typical dude, man. Born in the inner city, one of the roughest neighborhoods in America, as y'all know, Southwest Detroit. Which our story is being told a little from the BMF Star series right now. So a lot of my people, a lot of my family, a lot of my friends I grew up with, and lived a little bit of it. So, but the one thing that kept us out the streets, like most inner cities, is sports. And then as you grow and get older, you start to realize how good you had it as a kid with what our youth sports meant to that community, which still to this day is amazing what they do with youth sports. A lot of us went on, played college ball, some pros. You got your Jalen Roses, your Howard Isleys, Voshawn Leonards. A lot of guys, then a ton of guys who played Division I ball. So they come back and they give back and they spend time with kids. Even me to this day, I still go back, spend time, give back to my high school, even though Southwestern got tore down. But I played my last year and a half at E24 because I transferred, and I still give back to that program, which is one of the top basketball programs now. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing, man. It was. You had one foot in the street, one foot in sports, and, you kind of a product of your environment, but I wouldn't change the way I came up for nothing in the world.
So it's interesting that you use that term, because that's a term Mike talks about a lot. I know Mike couldn't be here, but Mike always talks about, and he goes from the other approach of saying you're not a product of your environment. So I think it's interesting how people can have those, different, ideologies of where they come from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what's cool is, he said somebody that resonates with me, and that's like a 6 degree of separation with Howard Isley. He's a BC guy in the beginning, so I got to always see him and talk to him. But just the fact of what you said about BMF and all this and integrated with sports, how was that at the end of the day, knowing that you was at the top of your sports, but at the same time, you fit right into this, you feel me? The streets is your brother too, and you well known in that as well. As far as the basketball community, can you just elaborate on that?
No doubt. Because all street guys want to be sports guys, and all sports guys want to be like the street guys. It's funny how we intertwine. And even to this day, our culture just been like that for years. All the athletes wanted to dress like the cool street guys, and all the street guys want to have the athletic swagger, the women, the spotlight, the limelight, always having people notice you. And so it's kind of a crazy blend, and that crowd always comes together. And real street guys, man, I was raised by some real OGs, man. So, they try to keep you away from it when they see you have a talent. But, like I said, sometimes you're a product of your environment. And my coach used to always tell me, if you hang around shit long enough, you're going to get shit on you, and that's true, man. And my crew, it was something else, but I grew up with them from day one. So we got into some stuff, and I'm not proud of some of it, and some of it, it comes from just being from that environment. It's kind of like LA a little bit, where you may grow up in bad neighborhoods and gangs, and even though you may not be fully entrenched, at some point you get a little bit on you. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's just a must. You have to align yourself to keep yourself safe and make sure you good. So we all been through it, man. Detroit is more of a city that hustles. It really show you how to hustle different ways, legally, illegally. It's seldom you run into a Detroit cat that don't know how to get money some type of way. So that's the one thing I learned early at an early age. And it's unfortunate. I think what affected a lot of guys like me the most was crack. The crack hit our neighborhoods. It affected me big time because my father got addicted the minute I hit high school. And so that's why I really went left ninth grade and had to recover from it. Now fortunately I had high school coaches who really cared, high school mentors that really cared, your Perry Watsons, your Coach Mayfield, who was my football coach, Coach Stevens, who was my baseball coach. So I was a blessed athlete. I played all three sports and really had guys that really cared about me. Coach Yerman Hansey was one of my assistant coaches. And then as I changed high schools, Coach Kenneth Jackson, who was a Jackson State legend, who once again, one of them dudes who come back and help the community and get into coaching. And then a name y'all might know, Coach Jerome Henderson, who coached me my senior year of high school, who moved back to Detroit. He married a Detroit woman. He was a Detroit Piston, but he's an LA legend, played for the Bucks, the Pistons, the Lakers, a couple more organizations, and, spent a few years overseas. But they all helped save my life, man. Without them, I'm not here today. I know that for a fact. Half of my circle is dead. Another half is locked up, was on that pyramid you saw when BMF went down. I mean, that could have been me easily. Like it could be any inner city kid, but by the grace of God, man, I found sports and found people who really cared for kids and, showed me it was a different way to live the type of life I wanted to lead, And then, having kids and want to be a better example, it kind of, it did something to me too. And then being humble, man, being humbled, God, I felt like God slowed me down, put me in a position to be able to think, and be like, hey, man, this route is wrong. Not saying God put me in a wheelchair because I believe, when you do devilish acts, the devil can get a hold to you. And so, I think it was a way to slow me down and to make me figure it out as a man, even though I was a young man when it happened, but I had to figure it out and I had to change my life and start doing things the right way. And so, unfortunately, I still didn't learn my lesson. I went back home for a little bit after I got hurt and, got back into some bad things again. But then, like I said, always had guys there who came and lifted me up. And Coach Richard Wells, who was my college coach here at LA Trade Tech, came to Detroit one day. And like I said, I'm in a house with like 20 BMF dudes at the time. And he looking around, he come in and he looking around and he like, bro, what's going on? Like, you back to this again? This ain't it, man. Like, let's go to the back and talk, And so he said, Ken, man, you need to come back and go to school, come finish school, come coach with me, man. I need help, And I'm looking at him like, and I couldn't do nothing but this at the time, bro. I couldn't even move my arms, none of that. And I'm just like, huh? Coach? Like, coach, what you talking about, bro? Ain't no way. He like, nah, bro, you always been the best when it come to leading and guys really, paying attention and, detail stuff and guys follow your lead and you relate to young dudes. You've been through everything possible. Like, they're going to listen to you. And I'm just like, coach, man, in this situation, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But he saw it the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, I talk to my wife, man, and see what she think, because at the time she working at FedEx, and but I know I did want to change my situation, So I thought about it, man, and then I had a dream, and I was like, man, maybe it's what I'm meant to do. So I told her, let's go ahead and try this. Let's just save some money, take off in May. This is like December. And I'm like, let's save some money, take off in May, and let's just see where it takes us. Like, we can't do no worse than what we doing, and that's what we did.
And that's how you got to LA.
That's how I got back to LA.
So so you was here first.
Playing. Right.
And then
hurt.
When you got back, or was it here?
I got hurt here. So it's the end of my freshman year is winding down. And I'm wrestling with my college roommate, and we come down wrong. I pick him up, go to slam him on the bed. He held onto my neck, so all that force goes into the bed like I'm being power drive. I fractured my C5 vertebrae in 3 places, and bruised my spinal cord, and it paralyzed me instantly. And so after I got paralyzed, I did like 7 months in a rehabilitation hospital in Downey, and then I moved back to Detroit. And so when I moved back to Detroit, then that's when everything I just explained happened. And then I moved back here May 2001.
Wow. I feel like we got to channel the inner Mike T here and ask what Mike would ask.
Yeah.
Mike Taylor couldn't be here, but
I know Mike good, man. That's my dude.
The thing he loves to bring to the table is talking about mental health. That's something that's kind of newer to the table. What was like your mental health approach going through all that, especially?
It was horrible, bro.
Taboo to talk about stuff like that.
No, I'm cool with it, man. I love for other people to hear some of the things we go through, because especially the disabled community, in particular, people in wheelchairs. Dude, I went through every bad depression, every bad emotion possible, including killing yourself. Like, I can remember crying one day because my wife and my mom was helping take care of me, but they couldn't do it by themselves. But they was giving everything they had. So I remember being stuck in the house one day, and something happened where my wife couldn't get back to me in time. My mom was stuck somewhere at work or something and couldn't get off. She was supposed to have been off. And I'm just going through a rough patch. I forgot why. Sometimes you feel bad for yourself. You feel sorry for yourself. Like, dude, like, God, why me? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I sitting here, can't move from my neck down, and I'm drinking water out of straw, and I can barely reach the water. And it was a hot, I remember it being super hot, muggy. I think they forgot to cut the air on. That probably was one of the reasons I was and then I was on these meds they had me on for depression, but come to find out, it make you suicidal. You find this out later when all these lawsuits is going on. And so I remember calling my wife and telling her, and I was on like 20 pills at the time. They had me on all these different pills. And I remember calling my wife, telling her, I'm going to kill myself. I just can't take no more. I'm about to take like all these pills. And like my uncle just came through the door. Like, he out of nowhere. He never just pops up, and he just came out the door. It was like God saving me again. You know what I'm saying? And so you go through, and that was the only time I went through that. But it's just the point that I went through it, and I'm pretty sure everybody in my position goes through it at some point, especially when you feel like it's nobody there for you. You don't know who to talk to about what you're going through. And I have all the friends in the world, all the boys in the world, but it's just certain stuff that they can't help you with. they not in your shoes, so they don't know this walk. They see it, but they don't really understand it. Being in constant pain all the time, have to be on all these meds you taking, not being able to pick your daughter and your son up. It was crazy. Like, it was just a rough patch, and we all go through it, especially in the first 2 to 3 years. You know, where everything is new to you. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what your family gonna contribute to you being healthy and helping. Because everybody want to help, but then when they see how hard it is to do some of the stuff you need done, slowly but surely, at some point, everybody's gonna drop out your life. Everybody, trust me, everybody dropped out my life at some point, and it really takes a strong individual to bounce back from that. So mentally, man, I've been through the ups and downs. It's probably why I got so much fight in me to this day. But I've always been a tough-minded person due to how I was raised in the neighborhood I came up in, and just kept moving on, man. And fortunately, like I said, man, it's always been somebody there to pick me up, always.
Wow. Man, that's pretty incredible, but it's the truth and the reality of things when certain situations happen. And I think we had a conversation earlier just about like how the youngins take things for granted.
Right.
You know, like you just never know what each day holds. So each day, like, you got to make sure like you can be at your best and do and bring out the best in you that you can, because you just never know in what situations and what can happen.
Right, and I think that's what makes me a real good coach, man. I'm a living example every day of how life can change instantly at the snap of a finger. I went from being this independent guy who had people in the palm of my hand, you know, was thought to become an NBA guy, a Major League Baseball guy. Anything, most people say anything, I could have did anything I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, have all the women, all the fame in the world. I was 15 and 16, getting in every club in Michigan, you know, can go anywhere, had money.
That's a bar.
Right.
15, 16, getting in the club, bro, that's a game changer.
Bro, we was doing it like no other. Like, it was crazy when you look back on it. And to have all that in the palm of your hand so early, and I'm talking about blowing thousands and hundreds of thousands and cars, and I mean, we had it all, bro. And then, you know, to go from that to go to you needing somebody to help you brush your teeth for you. Like, it's the most humbling experience you can ever imagine. And so, you know, I use that to coach, you know, and I let my guys know, man, if I'm here every day and I'm here early and I'm here to help you and work with you and I stay late, I'm here all off season, what's your excuse? You know, you're able-bodied, you got your health. That's like a blessing in itself that people don't even understand until you go through something.
Yeah.
Until you get a back injury and you can't get up. Till you go through an injury and you can't play the sport you wanted to play and you've been playing all your life. You know, adversity hits, you know, and so we have to learn how to respond to it. We have to teach others how to respond to it. And that's my job now, you know, teaching guys the proper responses. Life ain't sweet, you know, you're going to go through some stuff. And so, you know, especially as a black man or a minority man, Latino man, you're going to go through a lot, you know, more than your typical guy. And so our job is to prepare them for that, both on and off the court, because a lot of these guys that we get, they don't have that male leadership in their life, you know. And just let's just be honest, women raise men different than men raise men. You know, it's something about the Bible that's really true when it says iron sharpens iron. Without that male influence, man, you miss a lot of little things that you need to know as a man to get by in life and to do right in life, And women teach it a little bit different, and I think that's kind of what's wrong with this generation. There's so many of us being taught by women, and we have women tendencies, and instead of your typical man, he can get through the day, go through a hard day, and he'll never say a thing. He won't bitch or complain. And then, women ain't scared to complain and voice their opinion. And so a lot of these young men are like that nowadays. They think their opinion matters. And what they going to learn in life is a lot of times nobody gives a damn about your opinion, especially when you in a working environment. It's going to be, hey, I'm going to tell you to do this, this, and this, and I want it done like this, this, and this. And if it's not, then it's going to be some issues there, And we all know that as working men, So, that's the thing that we're teaching these young men now, and that's the thing I'm going through with my son now, my own sons, just trying to teach them to be better than I was, bring them up a little bit better than I came up, where they never have to face a lot of the things that I had to face. That's the joy in what I do now, being able to see them and then be able to affect 20 to 25 men every day that's in my life on that team, and then another couple hundred every year that, that's reaching out across the country, that, I bring in and, able to help and provide them a blueprint and, help them with scholarships and things like that. So it's rewarding and fulfilling to me. It replaced the competitive side of sports. I'm competing in another way now. So I'm blessed, man. I can't complain whatsoever.
And speaking of how you're affecting all these lives, we have to get into junior college basketball specifically and how different that is compared to basketball on any other level.
Well, junior college basketball, as the show Last Chance U, it is Last Chance U for a lot of those guys. Some of those guys on the second strike, third strike, and then some guys never had a strike, but maybe just wasn't good enough and wasn't prepared the right way, or didn't get the notoriety, or didn't get in front of the right people. And so, our job as junior college coaches is to help with all that. We provide them with a blueprint. If they stick to the blueprint, they'll have success. Now, it's not like that at every junior college. As you know, it's good and bad in everything that we do. So you got your good schools, you got your bad schools, you got your mediocre schools. It's up to the kid and the parents to kind of do their research and homework. And it's enough technology out there today where you shouldn't get bamboozled as easy. You shouldn't get as fooled as easy. So, back in our day, you can get bamboozled because, it just wasn't technology there. It wasn't film on everything. Everything wasn't taped or camera, or you couldn't go to the computer and type something in and it come right up. You can literally do virtual tours for every level now. You had none of that back then.
Yeah.
You just had to go on the dude's mouthpiece, and the dude with the best mouthpiece normally won. So, it's, man, the JUCO level, it's rough. It can be grimy at times. It's dog eat dog. But if you get out there, grind, and do what you're supposed to do, and help your team win ball games, and you playing for connected and well-coached dudes who really know their profession, man, you'll get what you want out of it. But if you go somewhere and, you just doing a bare minimum and, y'all mediocre not going to get it. Average not going to get it. You got to be special at this level to be able to get something really good out of it. And it's not like the old days either. I hate people who say, you can go anywhere and average 20-something and they going to come see you. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're going to go where they feel like it's discipline there, it's structure, and it's toughness. And it's winning because their jobs is based on winning. And if you can't bring something of value to help them win, they'll never come see you. They don't care if your team went 30-0. If it's not structured and right, and it don't translate over to what they do, they'll never come see you. I remember a coach telling me, man, he said, Ken, you can only be as good as the coaches who look at you. And he said, you can average 30 points a game, right? But if it's nothing but NAIA schools in your gym, guess what level you going? NAIA, because that's all that's seen.
Yep.
And I thought about that, and I was like, wow, that's true. Like, that's true, that because that's what happens to a lot of guys. You'll see a lot of guys, and you'll catch some at different levels, and you wonder how they got there. And then you'll do your research, and you'll be like, man, he's from a small town from here, or he from this little high school from there, but the dude better than a lot of D1 dudes, you know? And so, you know, he's only there because that's all who saw him, you know? And you know, in this day and age, a lot of people don't do their homework, man. It's unfortunate. There's so many schools that don't do their homework. There's so many schools who it's not a real hooper on a bench. That's a coach, so they don't know what to look for. And so if you notice, it's a lot of transfer portal guys because there's a lot of mistakes that's made because guys go off the buddy system. You know, it's like, well, my buddy got a kid we can get. We don't got to fight no school for him. He going to give them to us. And that's where the mistakes happen.
But do you know about this player? Do you know his tendencies? Do you know how he is personally off the court? Like, all these different things matter. And then, like, just to go on one point that you were saying, just how hard it is. Like, you need a little bit of luck sometimes in this game of basketball, man.
Do,
like, you need a little bit of luck, no matter what it is, because this game is really, really difficult.
Yeah,
really difficult.
Yeah.
I know you've been dying to talk about the transfer portal.
Oh, man,
Let's get into that.
Dying.
Since I about this all morning.
Yeah, so like let's talk about the transfer portal because like we said back in the day, right, there was no portal like this. It was just like, hey, the good talented kids got to go to the top colleges,
right, and
the JUCO guys got to wait. But now that like the situation's totally changed.
Totally.
If you're really, really good, you got a chance to go make some money either overseas or G League now.
Right away.
And then that leaves down some of the guys who still need a lot of bit of work and are still really, really young. And then that's when I feel like now most of these older guys are getting much more looks because of that situation.
Oh, no doubt. Man, it's a lot of reasons for this transport portal madness. And I just spoke on it a little bit with these coaching staffs not having real hoopers on the bench. That's part of it. Part of it is not a lot of guys willing to spend the time to develop guys anymore. Like, they want a ready-made thing as soon as you come in as a freshman. Like, that's unheard of, man. Like. Nobody wants to work with kids no more. Nobody wants to spend that extra time in the gym no more.
Unless they're getting paid for it now, right? Because now we see all these different trainers coming out the box, man.
Like, 1,000,001 trainers, bro. It's
and I used to tell them I ain't had no trainer. Like, I made myself pretty much. I mean, I had coaches, don't get me wrong. I had really coaches, great mentors. But like, I didn't have no trainer, literally, like, working on my guy. I had to go early to school just to get it done.
Right. And so that's part of the madness, man. So, you know, you get this kid. You probably only saw him practice twice when you recruited him. Like I said, buddy system.
Yeah.
Or he's on somebody's rankings list who based these rankings off of watching a guy at a camp and he been at 3 camps and he played well those 3 camps. But then you don't follow the whole progression.
Yep.
You don't see the ups and the downs. You don't see what triggers him. You don't see the habit, you know, and so you make mistakes. You know, I don't care what he ranked, and you know, that's why you see a lot of guys fail. You know, these guys get ranked early because they bigger, stronger, they're more athletic, and then they get to college, and everybody is big and strong.
Man.
Everybody is. You got guards that's 6'3" jumping out the gym. Them Ja Morants out there. Like, come on, bro. Like, so you get there and it's shell shock. It's like, oh wait, I ain't the biggest, strongest no more. Now I gotta learn how to play. Now I gotta learn these details. Now I gotta play some team ball. Now I don't operate with the ball 90% of the time and dribble. Like, they're teaching me how to play. And some kids not ready for that. They don't want to be taught because they've been sheltered from that for so long, and now they pissed. So they go a year of sitting on the bench, playing spot minutes, and then at the end of the year, I'm out. I don't care about me. You told me all these things to get me here, and I'm barely playing. I'm out of here. I'm not going to see it through. I got 3 years, but I'm going to the NBA in 1 more year because when I transfer to my next school, they going to get me to the NBA. It's just crazy how some of these kids think. And, unfortunately, we all know it ain't that easy. So they think it's that easy, and, they out of here. Now, the other end of the spectrum, from a coach's standpoint, they get these kids. They were told this kid is this, and this. And as you know, a lot of head coaches don't recruit. They send assistants out. They trust their assistants, and they bring these kids in saying they this, and this, and then they get them and they not. And so they disappointed sometimes. And sometimes the kid is forced out, because he get there, he got an attitude, he don't want to do the details, coach don't got time to give him the special attention he needs. And so you got to figure out a way to either fix them or get rid of them. And a lot of times they push these kids out. They make them feel miserable. Like, dude, don't stay here. We making it hell. We don't want you here because you're not coachable. You're not ready to buy into what we're trying to do. And they force him out. And then so he goes in the transporter. So nowadays you got like half your team leaving every year. It's crazy. I look at the portal. That's the first. I look at it all throughout the year, every day. And every day it's 4 to 5 names going up.
And it's crazy because it goes, what do you think is going to happen when you get to the NBA? Everybody's going to be much faster, run harder, block shots, shoot the ball. But it's like as a kid or as a young guy going into the game, I just want them to know, like, everybody's going to do what you can do. What can you do to separate yourself
from everybody else?
Because it's not about transferring really at the end of the day.
Right.
It's about checking your mental and your heart and letting you know, hey, how much do I love this game? How much am I ready to compete? Because you're going to have to compete regardless.
At the end of the day, you got to compete. And that's the thing that they don't understand, man. Like, it don't matter where you go. It don't matter what job title you have. Like, at the end of the day, you're always going to be working under somebody, and you're always going to be competing with a group of other individuals who's trying to get that same promotion you're trying to get that better job you're trying to get. So when you don't get your way, your answer always going to be to turn the other cheek and walk away from it. Or is you going to sit there and learn how to fight? And the streets is like that. What do? You get beat up every day, or you learn how to fight back, and they stop messing with you. And so
get down and lay down.
There you go. There you go. And that's what this basketball cycle is like, man. It's crazy. I promise you. I was talking to 2 of my former players this morning. One is starting, one is coming out off the bench. They're at the same school. And so they coach called me early this morning and say, man, I love the one that started. He's doing everything, but I think he gets complacent at times because he got it too good. He said, now don't get me wrong. He's nowhere near disappointing me. He's having a heck of a year, and he's the heart behind everything we do. He said, but he just not consistently at the highest level. I want him to get consistently there. And I think part of the problem is how he prepares himself. He ain't been in the gym like that extra.
Mm-hmm.
He says the other one, he don't have a clue. He talking to me like he going to the NBA next year. And I'm like, bro, you so far away, like you won't even do everything I'm telling you to do, and for you to have success, so we can have success.
Yeah.
And he like, he keep telling them and explaining it to him, but he'll go in there and do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I said, Coach, I got it. I'm about to call both of them now. So I call them on the three-way. I said, look, man, I don't know what's going on, but I know y'all better get y'all priorities together.
Yeah.
I say, y'all there to work. Y'all there to be leaders. You should be in the gym minimum 1 hour early or 1 hour late, besides what you do with the team. And he says y'all have 24-hour access. So y'all have zero excuse.
24-hour access.
24-hour access.
I don't even know
bro.
what that even feel like in my life of basketball. Like, you gonna give me this whole gym for 24 hours?
24-hour access. And them dudes ain't been in the gym none.
Wow.
Extra. And so, they both apologized. Coach, man, that's on us, man. We've been on some BS. We ain't been using our time wisely. I know exactly what he's saying. He right. Like, we ain't been doing it. We gonna improve it starting today. And that's all people want you to do, man. They want you to work hard so you can get the best out the opportunity. And sometimes, you got to work a little harder, because sometimes, our coaches see a bigger picture, and they see that it can be special if you prepare the right way. And that's what I was explaining to them. Like, dude, y'all a top 20 team. He sees special. Y'all can win it. But if you're not doing those extra things, y'all don't have a chance to. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Man.
So, you young, man. When you young, you think you got forever. Yes, you got forever to fix it. And that's another thing I'm a prime example of. I was young. I was 19 when this happened. And boom, it happened like that. Boom, it's over. It's over. Now you got to figure out another plan. And so that's what this game is like, man. 1 minute you can be at the top of the totem pole, and the next minute you can be out of basketball. So you better take advantage of the opportunities while you can. Don't believe your youth is always going to be there. Don't believe your health is always going to be there. Man, it can get ugly, And so I've seen it every side you can imagine. And, I'm just good at making guys realize taking advantage of them opportunities now.
Yeah.
So that's my job. That's what we do.
And continuing on to your job, it's like, speaking of like all these different things that go into finding the right players for your team and building the right roster, you're credited as being one of the best recruiters in the country.
Right.
How does that come into play?
The country, not the city, the world.
Man,
it's insane. Like, how do you find
That's
the
a
right
bar.
players for your team?
Man, I do the same thing at every level I coach. Like, I look for guys. Of course, you got to have some type of athletic ability, but I look for guys who come from what I come from, like who've been through stuff, but still willing to go through that and really want to be somebody, And so when you find guys like that, and you know it when you see it, because you'll talk to them, you'll have conversations, you'll get to learn them, and if they're that dude, then I'm doing everything I can to bring them in. If they not, then I end the conversation. I'm just like, nah, bro, you don't fit what we trying to do. But to me, I've been doing it so long, I know it when I see it right away.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you can't help them all and get them all. But I bring in enough where I can help and build, and I stick with those guys for the rest of their life. Like, I'm in dude's life from day one till I leave this earth.
Amazing.
And that's how I feel as a coach.
That's dope.
And I reach back to all former players since day one that I've been coaching, man. And they all reach back. They call, check in, see how I'm doing, come around, speak to the new generation, which is huge. Which we got a true brotherhood, man, and it was like that when I was at Trade Tech, and I remember guys like you used to come down and hoop, and I remember I had a Detroit kid then that you taught a great lesson to, Lewis Hamilton. Y'all was like the same size, but he was bigger and more experienced, same athleticism. And he came in there and just humbled Lewis. Like Lewis really thought he was league ready and going to the NBA, and Craig just came in there and put it on him. And it was the best thing we could have saw, because he was so cocky and arrogant because he was abusing JUCO. Like and Lewis was a top 50 kid coming out of high school in the country. And he came in there and just abused him. And that humbled Lewis. Like, that was the humblest Lewis ever was. And I was so thankful for that. And I was just like, thank you. Thank you. And so from that point on, man, and I kind of learned that from my high school coach, Perry Watson, because Jalen and all of them used to come back and do that to us, And when I got out here and started coaching, man, and I always opened the gym to the community, and then our runs just started getting so good. All the NBA guys started coming to them, top D1, all the UCLA, USC guys, your Nick Youngs and DeMar DeRozans, like they lived in our gym, and because it was competitive, it was real runs in the off season, and dude, you can find anybody in there any given day. Yeah, to say no there. It was cracking, man. It was really good times, man. Unfortunately, we moving away from that in the district, man. They got all these rules now, and it's destroying what junior college is for. It's meant to help build the community up.
Yeah.
And now they got all these rules. They don't want people in your gym. They got all these policies now, making it so difficult. And it's sad, because you can really impact lives. And we impacted so many lives by having those type of runs, and, guys like him talking to the younger guys, telling them what it's about, sharing their experiences, sharing their success. That's success when, you make it from the hood and you get a 4-year scholarship deal, and, everybody looking at you, and you playing on TV, and oh man, I can't even describe that, bro. Because when I watch it and watch my former players, I'm just like almost in tears. Because I'm so, man, dude, that journey, and he know what I'm talking about. That journey, like you don't really realize it when you're going through it, but then when you look back and you be like, wow, I made it. I made it through that, because a lot of your peers, unfortunately, especially coming up in inner city places, man, a lot of them, their journeys is way different. They dying, they're going to jail, they're getting hit with real life situations, and you enjoying some of the perks of life. You traveling the world, and you playing a sport that you loved as a kid, and some of us start getting paid for it. And, you have a different perspective as you start to get older and mature. And then you realize what you mean to your community. It's kids looking up to you doing this. You know what I'm saying? And then you realize, dang, I got to stay right for the next dude to do it, And so you're a living example of what kids want to be. And so that's another thing that keeps us motivated and going hard and want to have the ultimate success. And I can't even describe that feeling, but it's a crazy hell of a feeling, bro.
You'll start getting those soon too. You're Mr. Coach Craig now.
Well, yeah, and I feel like I've kind of already gotten it. That's why I've written a children's book, right? Just based upon my story of how I found my passion at an early age. And you write about that for an example of my peers, because it goes, man, I was blessed to have these really cool resources. Get to go on AAU trips, right? Recruitment trips. Yeah, then maybe get to go to the college I want, but somebody wanted me at the end of the day.
Right.
And I was thankful, and I wanted to make sure that they knew the love was mutual. Now, my friends, right? I've had All-American friends who were McDonald's and no years in the league, you know?
Right.
And maybe couple seasons of basketball. And it's just like, wow, like everybody's journey is different. But I think for me, it was just like I put my head down, stayed focused, and knew I was going to have to give back. I already knew, like even in college, I knew it was my point to give back, because it goes by seeing my peer brothers not get that access. I want to make sure at least the next generation as a whole can come up together with resources. You know what I'm saying? Because and not everybody, right? You have your good luck and you have people who get the short end of the stick. Yeah. And that's just how it goes sometimes. But then in my mind, it's like, well, I want to help create more of me, more of some of my other friends, like Bobby Brown or Trevor Ariza, Pooh Jeter. Like we got to make more of these, and I think that's on a mission too that we're on now today as adults. Because it's crazy to say like, "Yo, we adults now," like, you know. So, but definitely. Next question though, how and when like the Drew League came about for you?
Like, man, I can't describe the win because I've been doing it for so long. I'm really trying to think of when it was the win, but I remember my first year coaching in the Drew League was with George North, and that's because I coached in the Say No with him, and you know I helped run the Say No because it was at Trade Tech. But he had the Salvatore Spirit, and he took the Salvatore Spirit from Say No to the Drew League, and I was one of the first guys he called. I think he had been in there a couple of years before I came along with him and had never made the playoffs. And so I get a call, and he said, Ken, man, I need you to come back and help me, man. He said, I ain't made the playoffs. I'm getting my butt whooped. I'm tired of this crap, and these young dudes don't listen to me. And he said he said my grandson coming up, which was Deontay North, and I want to get him acclimated in it. And we had Frank Robinson.
Kelly Frank.
We had some dudes, man, on that team that were all like, top overseas guys or borderline NBA guys. And so, I said, yeah, I'll come do it. So my first year with them, we make the playoffs, of course.
The good luck charm.
Oh yeah, man. Because guys listen to me for some reason. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing half the time back then. I know basketball and I know the game to a high level. And I just know how to think the game as a scorer and being aggressive all the time. And I know in basketball, a lot of time the aggressive guy gonna win. Yeah. And so and I know how to get guys to play hard and play together, And so, that group, we had a really good group. And then I went from coaching with them to coaching LA Unified. And when I got to LA Unified, I got James Harden, I got Pooh, I got Bobby, I got, like, Bobo. I'm just like, bro, this so easy. Like, we literally never lost.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm thinking.
Y'all lost one. Well, they lost one to COA. They lost to COA. We just got to put that out there.
But
what?
So
because I'm a part of LA Unified. I'm just like the adjacent. I'm like rogue sometimes.
And I'm
not LA Unified.
And here's the thing: I'm not a big trash talker until you come at me with it. Then I won't respond. But
I don't want no problems. I'm chilling.
Right, but see,
maybe on the court, that's just
But my business partner is the trash talker. Wally.
Yes, Wally.
Wally boy. Trash talker. It is. And, you know, he gonna piss half of the
just
Drew
the way
League off.
he sit make you feel some type of way. Just the way he be like, you know, that lean. Come on, man.
And he loves it, man, and that's what he
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
you know, you know, we allow each other to be us. You know, I do the coaching side, he do the talking and motivating side, and we always been a great, you know, duo. But like I said, coaching him, you know, and we've never lost a game that James Harden played in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
so it was, you know, that was easy, you know, and then all the stars want to play with us because we them dudes, and so that was the easiest thing ever. And even now, man, my teams, man, is, you know, they well put together, and you know, a lot of that is, you know, me, you know, just having the years of experience, and you know, having the network and power to call different agents and be like, hey, man, your dude in town. Tell him, come get some run in with us, man. I got him, man. You know, we take care of it. And so a lot of trainers and agents reach out to us now. We don't have to like recruit no more. Like everybody want to play for us now, even though we retired LA Unified, and we up under we call it all in now, and you know, but we still, I always got like a top 3 seed. Always got one of the better records and made good playoff wins. We got to win another one sometime soon, though, man. It's been a while, and yeah, we got to get something done soon, man. Because now people looking at me like I'm like I done fell off a little bit, you know.
That's how they be, man.
You know, so I got to get some bragging rights going, and but it's fun, man. It's entertainment in the summer. It's such a huge community dynamic to it. Being able to bring those type of guys to the league and had that experience with all the kids that's there who can't afford an NBA ticket, you know. And so that's what it's really about, man. And I pride myself on that, giving those kids that experience, you know. And once again, it's something that you look around and you be like, wow. So, you know, that's what we try to get NBA guys to understand too. How important it is to play in these programs, even if it's one game, to give those kids, those children who can't afford those tickets, man, they family, I family of 5, dude, you spending minimum $500 at the minimum.
Easy.
Like minimum, that's just for the tickets. I ain't even got into getting in there and paying for the food, and you know, I want a beer too. And, you know, come on, man, whew, that's a paycheck to some people, you know. So for LeBron to do what he did this summer, Trae Young, Collins, Tyrese Halliburton, who played with us, Tyrese, and Chimezie always play with us every year. For those guys, you know, and it's a whole group of others, you know, in the past that always did. DeMar Rosen, probably the best to ever do it and come out year after year. He don't have to, but he does it. Nick Young did it when he was a player. Man, you don't understand what that does for those kids that was in my shoes. Like, damn, you see him and you be like, man, maybe I can make it. You know, he from what I'm from. Maybe I do got a shot. Maybe I do. Like for them, dude, the effect LeBron had this summer on doing what he did, I don't even think he realized how amazing that was. You know, one day he gonna look back on it and realize how amazing. Dude, I saw little kids just crying, grown people crying. Like I'm just looking like, damn. Is Michael Jackson in here or something? like I ain't never seen so many grown men crying, and like it's like, wow, like he really got that effect. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, you look at it and you start to understand it on a bigger microscope. That's the closest those kids ever been to LeBron James. You know? So it was huge, man. And, you know, this is the Drew League. This coming year is the 50-year anniversary, so they said it's gonna be crazy.
Huge, yeah.
They want to
They're
bring
blowing up. I mean, the Clippers have the Drew League jerseys now.
Yep, it's
Like,
Drew League
it's
City,
crazy
Jersey
how far
City
they've
edition.
come. They're streaming on the NBA app, I think, at one point they were.
It's the
Yeah,
best,
they streaming on the NBA app
It's
now.
so crazy to see how far they've come.
Man,
best
it's
summertime
amazing.
league in the world.
It's amazing, man. It's a heck of a show. I'm glad to be blessed and be a part of it. Thank you to the Smile Leagues.
Shout out Dino. Shout out Chanel, the genie bus of the
Yes.
Drew League.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and shout out to the LA Clippers, man.
Shout out Clips.
I hope the Lakers step their game up because the Clippers is killing the community stuff right now. And I'm talking about they giving them all type of tickets to the games. They sending players to play. Like, come on, Lakers. Like, come on. Brian can't be the only dude to come out, man. Come on, bring. Like, let a couple of them dudes come out once every blue moon.
We can tell who a Laker fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a Detroit. Everything. Everybody know
Detroit.
that. But I love the Lakers.
All right.
I love the
Well, hold on for that because we got questions for you for that down the line.
Yeah,
For sure.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, we almost done. We got a few left, and then we can hit the segments.
No, it's all good.
Before we get into this next question, I just got to ask, with what you just said, do you think there'll soon be a shift in fandom between Lakers to Clippers?
No. This always gonna be a Laker city, man. It's like you being a big brother, you never change to the little brother. Like, you always the big brother.
Yeah.
Like, because the Clippers, the Lakers been there since forever.
Yeah.
So they got all those championships. You're never gonna catch that. I don't care if you run off 10 straight. You're never going to catch 17 titles. You know what I'm saying?
It's tied for the most.
Man, it's hard to win one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're never going to catch that. Now, what Bomber is doing is unbelievable because, he's taking over all the community stuff. He's in the hood. He's rebuilding parks. He's sending players to go do this and go do that. His staff is amazing. And they really about community, bro. Like, I can't take that from them. The Lakers used to be that way, and then I don't know what's happened in the last 10 years.
Well, I felt like it was Bus's energy originally, right? He really cared initially. But now, you see that's phased out, right? And now Bomber has that same type of approach. He bought the Forum. But my thing was, he bought the Forum during the pandemic. Who got $400 million
during
in
the
a pandemic
bro.
that's just here you go.
Right, and still doing stuff.
Still doing.
In the neighborhoods. Like, this dude done rebuilt so many recs and parks around here that used to say Lakers this, Lakers that. But what it say now?
It's Clippers.
It's Clippers this, Clipper that.
Yeah.
Sponsoring uniforms for leagues and things like that. So that's another important part of it.
Yeah.
Getting that fan base early, doing things in the community, and it's noticeable. So hopefully both teams get back to that, man, and it provides more opportunities for these kids out here, especially the ones on the streets.
Absolutely.
And looking, they looking for something to do, and it's up to us to provide it. And unfortunately, man, that's how a lot of us end up in gangs and things like that. We looking for something to do. That's something to do, and you kind of go that way when you don't feel the love or you feel like you can't afford nothing else.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully we get better as human beings and doing our part, and the guys with that type of money, give back. And, you starting to see that some. I've seen that a lot over the last 5 years. So, hopefully we getting back to those old ways where community means a lot.
So now, let's rewind a couple of years back now.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix decides to recreate their successful Last Chance U football, but into a basketball show.
Right.
Your school gets picked up to be part of that. What has that been like for you, and what was that process?
Mosley had to deal with the process, man. He asked me about it before he did it. And I was already a fan of the football show. So I had been watching every season before we even got asked. And, he kind of didn't have no idea, what was going on. But I said, Coach, man, it can be great. It's a tool we can use to show the world that, what we're doing, first off, but we can get help. That we need help. We need resources at this level in order for these kids to have the type of success that they're going to have going forward. So he was really good at listening. He listened to multiple people about it. Like I said, I was already a fan of the show, so I was kind of stoked about it because I knew the type of platform it held. And then I knew what we did as individuals, that people needed to see it. So we can get more people doing it, because it's not a glamour job. It's not a glamour job. It's not glamour pay. So for people to see us do what we do with the limited resources we had, man, it's changed so many people's lives. And, you get so many texts and inboxes and DMs from coaches that's at our level or lower saying how we, affected the way they coach now. Like, their attitudes are different. They're being more upbeat and more positive about, where this basketball stuff and even different sports. They all hitting us and like, man, y'all changed the way we look at things. Like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. We've become like the basketball whispers. Like everybody in the country kind of calls us and reach out. And how do y'all do this? And how do y'all get this out of guys and this? So yeah, it's been amazing in that aspect. But at times it's overwhelming.
Sure.
All that attention and you worldwide, and But I love it. I can't complain. I don't mind taking pictures. I don't mind. This kid coming up to you or this fan or that fan. But like I said, it just get a little overwhelming at times. But hey, it come with the territory.
You guys are doing such an amazing job, man. Because I feel like y'all just speaking from the heart, man. Y'all not doing nothing crazy. Like y'all just being yourselves, and I think that it's the pureness in that.
Right.
That's what bring the beauty out of it.
Right.
Because it's real life scenarios and this is real life. And like
Right.
ain't nothing being like put in Hollywood or made for
Thank you.
none of that. It's all real. And that's why for me, I appreciate it.
Oh, man,
because I even watched it. I watched it like a couple weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? My coach Anthony Davis at Crossroads.
Yeah.
He's talking about it. I'm like, all right, let me check it out. And I check out the show, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Right.
Like, and then just to have a sense of knowing people or being around these people and like, no, this is real and this is real life. And like, it's just beautiful to get to see.
And you can relate to it on so many different levels of life. Like, it's not just basketball. It's real life stories. And they do a great job of really focusing on certain aspects of life. These problems that we go through as we going through this journey. And there's so many unknowns in the journey. And some of these kids have so many trust issues because they've been used and abused so early. And come from abusive situations, And I was that kid. Mostly was that kid, Yeah, we had parents and all that, but to go through what we went through and to still make it out, and still doing something positive for our community, man, that's the best, And so, we just happen to have a huge platform to show it. It's more than us out there doing this work, And so it's kind of, the show showing an appreciation for what we do. Everything is raw, uncut, no filter. People ask me all the time, is Mosley really like that? Dude, y'all need to come into a practice. Y'all ain't even saw the half. Like the dude is one of the most funniest characters you'll ever meet, but behind the madness is a genius.
Yeah.
It's genius behind the madness, man. And that's why I love him to death, because he really cares for people. He really cares for those kids, man. He goes above and beyond to the point, like he said, man, we sacrifice a lot of our family time to spend time molding these guys, man. And it ain't easy in the beginning. But then when you hit that end of, of our journey with them, as far as the basketball side and the school side, and we moving them on, that's when we have, like, man, that's when it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, my reward is watching that kid sign his letter of intent and watching his parents or whoever in his circle, you know, cry. They crying tears of joy. They crying tears of going through struggle for years. And here is this kid made it out.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes, a lot of times, that's the first one in the family to go.
Yeah.
You know, the first male in the family,
Yeah.
especially, you know, and so that's something to be proud of, man. And it's, you know, it's something you don't take for granted. I know a lot of times some of these kids feel like failure because they're at the junior college level. And we try to show them that it's not a failure. You're still going. God's still giving you an opportunity. You're still doing the right things in the eyes of people who's successful. And you're probably still doing more than 95% of the guys you came up with.
Yeah.
You know, so this last chance you thing, man, it's definitely been a blessing, man. And, you know, I'm just glad it, you know, just put out there some of the good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little bit of bad come with it, but it's mainly good. And, you know, it was a joy doing the show for 2 seasons for sure.
Did the cameras, do you feel like, made it harder to coach, or do you think there was like extra pressure with that, or did you guys just do a great job of keeping it, you know, 100 all the time?
I think on Mosley, it put some pressure on him because, you know, he got this subplot line that, you know, he got to win it, you know, in order to become this great all-time great type coach.
Yeah.
So it's pressure in that sense, but other than that, for me, it wasn't no pressure. I mean, I'm gonna be me.
Yeah.
I don't care if the camera's on, off. I'm gonna cuss here and there. I want, you know, I want to keep it
Be
real,
yourself,
bro.
yeah.
I want, you know, I got that hood in me, so you know, I don't care if a camera there or not. You know, I'm gonna just be who I really am, and that's all I know. You know, but you know, I think with as far as the kids, man, it actually made them lock in a little bit more because they didn't want to embarrass themselves on
It's true.
camera.
Yeah.
You know,
Social media, all that. Yeah, people want to talk about, like, nah, I gotta be
right,
correct.
right. And believe it or not, like when they catch those crazy funny moments, like they really whispering under their voice. Like it's crazy how that mic pick up everything and catch those moments. And you know, we don't even see those moments until it airs.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to us too, watching it and playing it back, and especially because Mosley the way he is, because he actually listening, trying to hear you say that stuff so he can put you on that line and get you right. But dude, it's so funny, and a lot of times most of the bad moments happen like in the first month. You know, as you know, people just coming in, they don't really know the culture yet. They trying to figure it out, and it's a competitive environment. So, you know, it's gonna be some blow ups, some mishaps, but as it goes, all that goes away. We come together, we bond, and that's the journey you see over that time. You know, and so it's fun to be a part because I've been doing this so long, and I know what the journey is going to be like. But you know, it's great, man. What they do with that show is amazing. You know, from every producer to the writers. I mean, well, not writers, but the guys who, you know, literally made the show. Greg, he's amazing. Adam, amazing. The crew, the film crew, how they edit, how they get certain shots. I mean, we got dudes in there on rollerblades and scooters and all type of high tech cameras and cameras coming from. Oh my goodness, dude, it was crazy. But like I said, you get so used to it, you forget the camera there.
Yeah.
Like literally after the first week of filming, I forget a mic. I forget the camera is there. Like I'm talking about stuff I shouldn't even be talking about. Like, it get real, man, and they do a great job of editing, that stuff out, man, and protecting you a little bit. But no, man, if I had it to do it over 100 times, I'd do it 100 times, man. I love it.
So is season 2 out on Netflix now? Go watch it if you haven't yet. Is there any word on a season 3?
I mean, I don't. They may come back around. Who knows?
Yeah.
I never say never, but as of now, we're not filming. So, we back to regular now. But our crowds are amazing now. Everybody, like, we got more people coming out and supporting. And that's a great thing in doing a show. You get all the support, and now people see what you do and see how good it is, and they want to help. And they want to come support you and watch these kids go from young men, from boys to young men, So it's been good, man. I can't complain. And if a season 3 comes one day, it comes.
Yeah. All right, now we're going into our final segments. Now, this segment is called Rhino's Vision. And so what I would like to see, Coach, is you break down in detail for the viewer one of your favorite basketball plays. Just a breakdown how it goes, who's scoring. Was it Joe play or is it a play you coached? Like,
I know the play I want to say, but we still use it, so it's hard. I don't want to break it down, man.
Well, give me another one then.
I'll give you another one.
Give me another one. That's a second.
So I'll give you one I use when I do like these All-American camps or these best available camps when I just want to throw a play together. So I run a typical 1-4 high UCLA set.
Yep.
And then it's different ways you can initiate the offense. So with the pass, if I pass it over to a wing, say the right wing, that right big who's on that one in the middle of that high four set, he goes in pick and roll. So you got the baseline pick and roll there. These two, including dude that passed the ball with that big, they go set the double for him to come off in the corner, and he's coming off a curl or a flare, depending on how the defense plays it. So you got multiple options, and as he come off, the other guy pops whichever opposite of whichever way he goes, which most of the time he gonna pop corner, and one guy sit there and post. But it isolates that pick and roll, So I love using that set, and that's off the pass. You can do it off the dribble, which I can just dribble toward the wing. The wing clears out. He becomes the corner man who's going to come off the double. I still got that pick and roll. He pops out. And then those two, that wing and that big, is making that double pick. And so I love that set because it's just so open. It allows me to put the ball in my playmaker's hand, and he has, especially like I said, in open settings, man. When you got guys who don't know how to play defense, or if it's pro league rules, where guys can't stay in that 3-point in that paint area for 3 seconds, and so I love running that, man. I know, but it's another play, like I said, we use now. And nobody still can't figure it out and stop it.
So what's cool is like we used to use a 1-4 flat in BC, and we would call it pairs. And if I wanted a quick hitter, the guard would literally pass it to the wing, UCLA off the big, the opposite big, and then go and make a U cut for the big on the opposite free throw line block for a cross screen for an easy lay.
Yeah,
that would be my favorite play every time because I just be like, la la la. All right, I'm gonna go get this.
You playing possum,
and
then all of a sudden that cross street, boom, it's a layup. And so the play that I want to say, but I can't say because we use it and nobody still figure it out. It's something like that. It's something just like that.
Thank you for that, Coach, from the Rhino's Vision. All right, Jay.
We got the Give It Dog a Bone segment. It's going to be a bunch of rapid-fire questions just for our audience to get you a little bit better. Underdogs podcast, we got to know what your favorite dog breed is.
My favorite dog breed, it's always been a Rottweiler.
Okay. Favorite musical artist?
It's a tie, man. Like, it's like a three-way tie with me, man. Like most times I'm Tupac. A lot of times I'm Nas and Jay-Z. You know, like I'm right there, and Biggie right there, but he just didn't have as much of a catalog. You know,
Yeah.
but most of the times I'm them, and then when I'm in gangster mode, I'm Nipsey and Jeezy.
All right, favorite shoe.
Nike.
Favorite city that you've played or coached in.
It's a tie. Detroit and LA, man. I love them both to death. Like, I can't separate them.
Okay. Who would you put as your best dunker of all time?
Best dunker of all time. It's depending on if we talking in game or we talking dunk contest.
In game.
In game, Vince.
Okay, what about dunk contest dunk?
Jordan.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. All
All right, outside of coaching, playing basketball, what would you say your favorite hobby is?
Dominoes.
Dominoes.
right. Okay.
Okay. I don't even know if I know the right way to play that. I just like knock them all over.
We're going to have to teach you, man.
Oh, yeah. You definitely
We're
got
going to
to
have to teach you. And yeah, you might have to watch the Domino movie, too. Because we got movies for him. Coach, if you got a movie for him, we made him watch Menace to Society. We made him watch The Wood. So if you got any movies, Coach,
Boys in the Hood.
you got a movie for him. Yep, Friday.
Since we basketball part, no, you know what? I want to go back. I want to give you something funny. Harlem Nights.
Oh,
Haven't seen it, so I can
yeah,
answer that.
Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights at that.
Who is your favorite current player?
Currently, that's a good question. Currently, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm starting to favor Ja Morant, man. That dude, he's starting to like, he got that hood to him, bro. Like, he don't back down from nobody.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that as a competitor. You know, and I think that's what the NBA missing. Like, he's not scared to talk shit to Steph and them, and like, okay, yeah, y'all won it, but I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there. We coming. You know, and that's what I love. You know, Phoenix has that sometimes, and I thought but the new kids on the block is them Pelicans, man. Them Pelicans coming, bro. They are coming, and my guy Willie Green, man. I'm another Detroit dude. I love seeing what he's done, and you know, he's from my mentor too, Perry Watson, man. He played for Perry at UAD. So, man, to see what he's done in his young coaching career is amazing, man. How he's brought those dudes together, and I think they're gonna be a tough out this offseason. Yeah. They're gonna be a tough out, man. It's them NBA playoffs gonna be real.
Yeah, they're gonna be good.
I saw a tweet earlier today saying that this is the greatest crop of NBA players we've ever seen.
The greatest? That's tough, man.
Yeah, that is tough. But we can't compare eras. But it's just like this is one of the very good eras of multiple basketball players. But just to go back to your point about Ja, I feel like he's Allen Iverson with Vince Carter's bounce.
Right.
That's good comparison.
Right. I totally agree.
He got the AI attitude, swagger.
Everything, like every hood dude want to be him right now. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone. And it's just like, dude, that dude's special. You know, now, unfortunately, a lot of what he does right now is off athleticism. And, you know, even though he has a high IQ and he can, you know, his shooting is getting there and all that. But, like, hopefully he don't have to go through what Derrick Rose went through.
Yes.
You know, those injuries. And
man.
You know, you're not that same guy no more. And that's kind of what makes him unbelievably special. Having that athleticism, man, that athleticism, you can't teach that.
No, you can't.
Like, there's nothing in the book that you can go read and figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that burst, that quickness.
Plus that confidence he must need to have to be able to go after some of those.
Oh yeah,
those
absolutely.
Posters, like, I can't even imagine doing that.
That's part of the game, man. Having confidence, especially big confidence. The more confidence you got, the better you are off.
Right. I mean, that dude is just all out fearless, man. And it's been special to watch, man. A lot of times in our generation, man, we don't appreciate greatness while it's happening.
Yep.
You know, we take it for granted, just like LeBron. We take for granted what he's done and what he's meant to the game, and you know, a lot of guys, man, and so we think we always gonna see that,
Yeah.
And then we don't miss it until it's gone.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think Ja might be that dude right now for me. Before that, I was huge, I was LeBron, KD. Like, I'm a big fan of a lot of dudes, man. Because I just enjoy the game and enjoy watching guys compete.
Okay.
And I enjoy guys going after guys' records, record wise and
Yeah.
championship wise.
Yeah.
So I'm loving what Steph been doing lately. I love Draymond, just because his toughness and
Yeah.
his willingness to compete with anybody. It's just been a joy to watch lately, man. Like the overall game and where it's came. And I'm not the biggest NBA fan because I enjoy college ball a lot more because they just so much more locked in every play. But NBA, when they get down to them last 20 games in the playoffs, they start locking in and preparing for that run.
Yeah.
That's the best time to watch it.
So out of all the classes of recruiting you've done, is there one specific class that you've just been like, that was it?
Ooh. I've had some good classes, bro. Like, my trade tech year, the year we went like 30, I think we went 35-3.
Sheesh.
With JoJo Morgan, he knows JoJo, and Mike knows him well because Mike hangs with JoJo. Was the state player of the year. That class was really, oh my goodness, it was really good. We averaged 120 points a game.
Jeez.
And it was just an
35
amazing
and 3,
show.
120 points a
Yeah,
game.
it was a show, bro. Like, we had all of LA come out all the time.
That's dope.
Like, it was unbelievable. So that was one.
No, just give us one.
I can't, man, because like KJ and them class was amazing.
Yeah.
What we did with that group, man. That was a really, really good class. KJ, Malik, Lavelle, Deshaun, Joe, like all them dudes, man. That was a really good group. Just toughness. Some of them, a lot of them dudes playing pro ball now, and some of them still in college and getting it in at a high level. That was another one. And then this one I'm currently coaching, man. Which y'all saw the freshman side. We had 12 freshmen last year. And so, like, we went 25-5, and it felt like failure because with us, it's win it all or it feel like a bust. But actually, to have 12 freshmen and go 25-5 and make it to the Sweet 16, it was, and now they're back with experience. And that's why we're having the type of year we're having. So this group up there too, and I'm really excited to see how they finish this season off, man. Really excited about this group. I think they can get it done. I really do.
Okay. All right. Being from Detroit, where is the best place for Detroit style pizza?
Pizza Populous.
Pizza Populous.
So Pizza Populous is unique.
Ain't Little Caesars?
Oh man, little Pizza Populous is like a Chicago style pizza, but you can get almost anything you want in it, and it's amazing, man. So them, and then we got this spot called BC's Pizza that I absolutely love, and it's in the hood, So you gotta go to the hood to get Pizza Populous is downtown on the waterfront, good area.
Good scenery.
Right, good scenery. But, you go to BC's, it's in the hood. It's more of a New York style of pizza, but it's really well made. And so I always try to go to both when I go home, man. And then, of course, I get my White Castles in because you don't have no White Castle here. But no, them two probably the best that I know.
All right. Of all the players you've coached, is there one specific guy that you think is like a huge underdog?
Huge underdog. The hugest underdog was Joseph Morgan, which became the state player of the year. But this dude had the most miraculous. Like, he can definitely be a Netflix story. Vita double homicide, was one of the most ruthless game bangers that you ever heard of. Everybody told us we shouldn't touch him. All type of stuff. Just had history and big time blood bounty hunter. A history beyond, you know, he was born in it. Father was big time. Like, he ain't had no choice. And so we got him out of it and away from it and showed him this life of basketball, man. And, you know, he really trusted me and Coach Mac Wells, who was Coach Richard Wells' nephew. He really trusted us. But we spent so many countless hours with him, getting him to leave street life alone, and buy into where this basketball stuff could take you. So he left that lifestyle, man, and became the player of the year in the state. Went on to play Division I basketball, and he was on that Morgan State team that lost to Blake Griffin and them when he was at Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. Okay. Goes on to play some overseas, and he's back here, and you know, between here and Vegas, and he lives a legal, legit life now. You know, taking care of his family, and just one of those big time underdog stories, man. But I got so many of them, but he definitely right there, probably with the best. You know, because I knew everything he went through in life, and the odds he had to beat just to be at JUCO. You know, and it was amazing to see what he became.
It's down to the last two questions. Mine is, what is just your funniest moment in basketball?
Ooh, there's so many of them, man. I mean, funniest. I mean, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, man. I mean, I think one of them happened this summer. I got my first tech in 20-something years.
How you do that? How you not get a tech in over 20 years? First
I
of
know
all,
you know Coop.
Yep.
So Coop and Wally don't get along at all. So he already gave Wally one tech because Wally mouthed off, right? So it was something wrong with the shot clock. They told us before the game, the rule is play through the shot clock because it's going to go off, and don't pay. It was going off like 5 seconds early, or sometime it wouldn't go off. And so the rule was we had to play through it regardless. I guess somebody didn't inform Coop of the rule. And so we got the ball. It goes off early, which is cool. We shoot the ball. It hits the rim. We get the rebound. He stops the game, and he rewards the other team the ball. And I'm like, hold on, what's going on? He said, well, the shot clock went off, and so I'm giving the other team the ball because, you know, the shot clock shouldn't have went off. I said, no, Coop, that's not the rule. Like, they told us already the shot clock going to go off, reward us the ball. So, you know, he's over there trying to get the other team the ball. I said, man, Coop, man, you don't know the goddamn rule. What the fuck is going on? Tech. So he texts me, right? So after the game, and we end up winning that game by one possession. After the game, I'm at the table outside sitting at one of them picnic tables outside. And Coop comes behind me. He said, Ken, man, my bad, bro. I said, yo, bad. He said, yeah, man. He said, man, I didn't know that was you talking. I thought that was Wally. I was trying to take him out the game. I said, man. I said, what? He said, yeah, man. I got tired of his mouth. He was on me the whole time. He was like, I was trying to take him out the game, and I had no idea that was you. If it was you, I knew that was your voice, man. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't have gave you no tech because you don't never say nothing. And I was just like, oh, wow. And so the whole table just sitting there laughing. And he was just like...
Because he was trying to give him a tech regardless. It wouldn't even matter if he said anything. He was just trying to get him up out of there.
Right. He was trying to get Wally out the gym, man. It was hilarious. So that was probably one of the most recent funniest things that happened.
That was really funny. was funny.
All right, we'll wrap the podcast up as we do with every single episode you've done. What is the biggest lesson you've learned throughout your entire journey so far?
Biggest lesson is, man, that, you know, life can go any way you want it to go. And it can change at any given moment, man. And you just got to learn how to deal with adversity. You know, it's not always going to go the way you want it. Don't have expectations, but, you know, don't have expectations to the point where you can't diversify, you know. And so you're going to go through ups, you're going to go through downs, man. You just got to have an even keel and learn how to handle it both and have a balance, you know, for everything you put into it. Have a way to, you know, have some stress release. You know, whatever you may find in life that give you stress relief, figure that out early. It'll help you a ton. And make sure you always keep the ones you love. You know, you giving them that time. You trying at least, you know, because it's gonna help with that stress release and help you balance some of the things that we gonna go through. Some of this, it's a journey, man, and this, you know, it's long when you in the beginning of it and you looking at it, but it goes by so quick, so quick. So that's what I'm learning. I'm starting to hit the downside of life. You know, when you hit almost hitting 50, you almost hitting that downside, and you experiencing a lot more things in a different way. And so you just gotta learn how to embrace it all, man, and be thankful for it all. You know, thankful you just still here and able. You know, and so that's, you know, kind of where I'm at in mine. I'm just thankful to be here and able, and, you know, trying to enjoy it as much as I can while I'm here. So that would be the advice that I would give anybody, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Underdogs podcast. Thank you guys for listening. I will link all of Coach Kent Hunter's information, social media, whatever he wants in it down below. So make sure you go and follow him, subscribe, whatever he has. Make sure you watch season 2 of Last Chance U. See you guys next week.